WCBI News at 10 starts now.
President Trump continues to threaten to close the U.S.-Mexico border. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Trump saying he knows it would have an impact on the economy, but he's most concerned with security. Courtney Ann Jackson explains a big portion of Mississippi's trade would be in jeopardy if it closes.
A border closure would be a very detrimental thing to Mississippi agriculture, trade, to our farmers, to our commerce as a state. It would be a terrible thing to happen.
So how much do we depend on Mexico for goods?
A lot of produce that is in the grocery stores in the wintertime and early spring, a lot of that is Mexican produce. So it's important we have that chain of food supply.
But trade works both ways with our neighbors to the south.
Mexico is the 9th largest importer of Mississippi agriculture commodities in the world.
We send Mexico more than $27 million of products every year, with poultry and timber among the top commodities. That trade relationship is why Agriculture Commissioner Andy Gibson is supporting the president's trade agreement that's pending congressional approval.
The Republicans and Democrats find a solution that will benefit the whole United States and especially our farmers. Our farmers are the ones hurting the most through all this controversy, and we need a solution for them through the approval of the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement.
The market uncertainties are already having impacts on the state's agriculture and trade, with some farmers changing what they plant this spring since they don't know what they'll be able to sell it for. Meanwhile, the state's auto industry could take a hit. The Center for Automotive Research saying this week that the North American auto industry would be crippled within a week if the border closed. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The 2019 legislative session is over, and lawmakers are back home to tell constituents about the decisions that were made at the state capitol. Our Quentin Smith, he speaks to a couple of area legislators about this year's work. He joins us live in the studio with more. Hey, Quentin.
Scott, from giving teachers and state employees pay raises to passing one of the most restrictive abortion bills in the nation, lawmakers were extremely busy these past few months trying to move the state in the right direction. I spoke with two lawmakers who say they're happy with the work that was accomplished, but they do admit there's more work to be done. After spending the first part of the year at the state capitol, state representatives Sheck Taylor and Rob Robertson returned home confident and proud of the work they put in to represent their constituents.
I think they went pretty good. I mean, you always have things that you enjoy doing and seeing it make it through, and there are things that you don't necessarily like to see it through, but that's with every session.
We've had some upswings. We had some things that we can be proud of that we took home, but there was a lot of dissension. There was a lot of skullduggery and hiding money and bills and things of that nature.
Both lawmakers say one of the biggest positives from this session is the fact that teachers and state employees will now see pay raises. However, the two have opposing views about the dollar amounts of the salary increase.
I'm glad we were able to get the teachers something, but was it enough? No. And I do not want to send the impression that it will be enough. Until we get to our teachers who are south, east, and the average, the state of Mississippi has not done enough for education.
Some of the information that's out there suggests that people voted against a $4,000 pay raise and that there was actually money set aside for that. And that's just not true. That's not what occurred. I know that's not what some people want to make it, but that's the reality.
Robertson, who represents District 43, says one takeaway from this session is he would have liked to have seen more focus on education and doing away with some of the state testing.
I think we're probably testing too much. Some of that testing is required from the state level, but some of that testing is practice tests that's being done at a local level. In all honesty, I think we would be far more suited to, let our teachers teach. There's got to be a trust there, and these are professionals, and we should trust them to go out here and do that job.
However, Taylor says his biggest disappointment in the session is how the bill for funding charter schools was introduced to House members.
We're getting about 45 minutes to digest about a 150-page document. And knowing the people who actually produced it knew that there were over $2 million in charter school funding in that bill. So without knowing, we all voted for it. It almost passed unanimously.
Now, with the session being over, lawmakers are now back home gearing up for their next challenge, elections. Party primaries are set for August 6th, and the general election will be on November 5th. Scott?
All right, thank you very much, Quentin. Well, time now to toss things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson to get a first look at our forecast. Hey there, Keith.
Well, Scott, a great day, lots of sunshine, some clouds moving on in this evening, giving rise to a pretty nice sunset. That was our time lapse from Louisville, Mississippi, a little burst of color with the setting sun. We've got temperatures in the 50s to low 60s out there. As expected, pretty quiet. Clouds will gradually fill back in later tonight. We're looking at lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s, but do have the umbrella on standby and get it ready to go tomorrow because we will have a chance for showers and storms. Temperatures will be a little bit cooler. We're looking at highs mainly in the 60s. Speaking of the storms, they are beginning to develop out there in Oklahoma and Texas, and they'll be in here tomorrow morning. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
New tonight, Tupelo police are investigating after one person is shot. Police say they responded to a reported shooting at Glenkirk Apartments around 6 o'clock this evening. That complex is on Ida Street in Tupelo. Police say the victim was taken to the emergency room by someone, and police say that the wound is described as a superficial wound. Right now, there's no suspect in the incident. Tupelo police continue to investigate that shooting. A break in a nearly 8-year-old cold case in Monroe County leads to an arrest and an indictment. William E. Pops Phillips went missing over 7 years ago. Now Jeffrey Dwayne Kennedy is charged with his murder. Our Joy Talley has more.
William E. Pops Phillips was 52 when he vanished in June of 2011. He was reported missing 6 months before Sheriff Cecil Cantrell took office in 2012.
We inherited that case. We met with the Phillips family and assured them that we would work as hard as we could to find out what happened to William E. Pops Phillips. And we did. And we worked diligently to do that.
That work paid off, leading to a murder charge against 54-year-old Jeffrey Dwayne Kennedy.
All I can tell you is, without getting into my evidence that we do have against him, that we presented our evidence to the Monroe County grand jury in March, and they came down with a true bill where he has been indicted for first-degree murder.
Kennedy is currently serving a 10-year sentence in Rankin County for a drug conviction out of Monroe County. He's been in custody since November.
This June will be 8 years that we've been working on this case, and we worked on it hard. This case has been worked on very, very hard. A lot of man hours, a lot of agencies have been involved. MBI has been involved, the Amory Police Department, Chief Ronnie Bowen's people, our investigators.
One of those investigators is Rodney Starling. He started working with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department as a criminal investigator and narcotics agent a year after Phillips was reported missing. That's when he took it upon himself to get involved as a lead investigator in the case. It's now the first cold case he's helped solve.
It's just one step closer to giving closure to the family. It's not a conviction, it's just an indictment right now. Hopefully down the road we'll get a conviction.
To ensure that conviction, investigators are keeping a tight lid on information from the investigation.
It took a long time to put it all together because when you get a cold case, it's just hard to put everything together, but we finally did. And we gathered a lot of evidence and that will be presented in court when we have this trial.
Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says the investigation is still active and more arrests are possible.
Today, increasing clouds. You can see them moving on in Durham's Pharmacy, West Alabama, in Lamar County. We do have some changes coming our way. Rain and storms likely tomorrow. A little bit drier Friday, but we may see some more unsettled weather this weekend. The full details are next.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
I hope you absorb the sunshine today, the dry conditions, a great evening. Look at those clouds coming on in, but out ahead of it, we had a great day, a little burst of color right there, our Alpha Insurance camera, downtown Tupelo. No rain, no nothing out there right now with our live Doppler radar. We do have rain and storms in the forecast tomorrow. Could there be a strong storm or two? It's possible, but we do have some limiting factors. Right now, those big storms are blossoming out here in Texas and Oklahoma. Will fly underneath the clouds. Lots of lightning in this activity, lots of big hail, too. Check this out. We had one hailstone at least 3 inches in diameter in southwestern Oklahoma today. Now, I can't rule out a strong storm tomorrow with some wind, a little bit of hail, some heavy downpours, thunder, and lightning. But having said that, the most unstable air with this event looks like it will be staying towards southwest. Notice these brighter greens and yellows, not necessarily in our area, so that's where the most unstable air is going to be. And right now, a big limiting factor is the fact that the air is pretty dry. We have dew points still in the 30s and 40s, deep tropical moisture still well off the coast. Now, we do have a southeasterly breeze, and that's going to bring in a little bit of moisture here, but probably not enough to get a lot of active weather around here. So we are still in this green. As far as the severe weather threat, that is category 1 of 5, this marginal threat. So no widespread severe weather expected tomorrow. Can't rule out a few strong storms, however. Temperatures are expected to be in the 60s, so a little bit cooler than today with this threat of rain and the increased cloud cover. Tomorrow morning, 6 or 7 o'clock, we may see some showers already coming on in with some embedded thunder, and that will carry over throughout the course of the afternoon and into the early evening. Now, there's a chance that some of this could actually congeal into a little bit of a line late in the day and then move off to the southeast. If that were to happen, there could be a better chance for some gusty wind. Again, that is not guaranteed just because of the lack of ingredients we have in play. A lot of cloud cover on Friday morning, but most of the rain will be done. We'll tend to thin out those clouds during the day Friday, and then we'll get temperatures back into the 70s. But we do expect to see anywhere between 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches with this episode of rain and storminess as we go throughout the course of tomorrow. 60s around here, warmer off to the southwest, more unstable, so that's where the better chances of some of those stronger storms could be down there in southwestern Mississippi. But Jacob's actually going to be in for Alex tomorrow morning. He'll have the very latest starting at 4:30 on sunrise. You can see Friday 77, variably cloudy, low 80s for the weekend. We may see some additional strong storms late Saturday into Sunday. Again, more details on that going forward.
Well, there was plenty of baseball action today. We'll have highlights from Ole Miss and Mississippi State coming up a little bit later in sports.
Watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. It's important to be on the lookout for signs of child abuse and neglect. And tonight's Health Talk with Baptist, what you need to know to spot those signs and get children the help they need.
Hi, my name is Christina Shumpert Chapman. I'm a social worker in the emergency room and a member of the case management team at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight, we'll be discussing the most common form of child maltreatment, child neglect. According to Mississippi law, a neglected child is a child whose parent, guardian, custodian, or any person responsible for his or her care or support neglects or refuses, when able to do so, to provide proper or necessary care or support. Education is required by law, or medical, surgical, or other care necessary for his or her well-being. Nationally, about 70% of cases reported to Child Protection Services are cases of neglect. At Baptist, roughly 95% of cases reported are neglect. Signs of neglect include, but are not limited to, a child who is frequently absent from school, begs or steals food or money, lacks needed medical or dental care, immunizations or glasses, is consistently dirty or has severe body odor, lacks sufficient clothing for the weather, abuses alcohol or drugs, state that there is no one at home to provide care. The possibility of neglect should be considered when the parent or caregiver appears to be indifferent to the child, seems apathetic or depressed, behaves irrationally or in a bizarre manner, is abusing alcohol or other drugs. Any person who knows or has reason to suspect abuse or neglect of a child is required by law to make a report to Mississippi Department of Child Protection Services. Reporting can be done by dialing 1-800-222-8000 or online at reportabuse.mdcps.ms.gov. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will discuss child abuse.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Well, the season may be over for Tiara McCowan. The season may be over, but she continues, rather, to rake in honors and accolades. More on the All-American coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
A couple of tough losses early in SEC play took Mississippi State by surprise after the Diamond Dogs got off to a hot start. But State right back on the diamond to prove that it's nothing that a midweek matchup in Stark Vegas can't fix. Nothing like a baseball game in Starkville to get you through hump day. MSU taking on ULM, bottom of the first, no outs. Runner at second, and Rowdy Jordan takes Cole Martin's pitch to left field. That's going to score Jake Mangum as he slides in safe, and State takes an early 1-0 lead. Runners at first and second, Elijah McNamee lines one by the third baseman to left. He'll get a single. Rowdy Jordan scores, and the Dogs go up 2-0. Still in the first, no outs. The bases are loaded for Dustin Skelton. He hits one down the left field line, stays fair, and is gone. The grand salami for Skelton as the Diamond Dogs add 4 more to the scoreboard, making it 6-0. Then if one homer's not enough for you, maybe you'll like 2. Tanner Allen gets in on the action, taking this one to right for a solo shot. It'll be 7-zip Bulldogs. Mississippi State goes on to dominate in this one. They win big by a final of 21-8 over UL Monroe. Next up, State hits the road to play Tennessee in Knoxville for a weekend series starting on Friday. Well, Tiara McCowan has played her last game for the Maroon and White, but that doesn't mean she's done earning accolades. 2 days ago, she earned AP First Team All-American honors. Yesterday, she earned what is her 3rd All-American honor from the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. And the accolades keep on coming in for the 3rd straight day as she's been named as the WCBI Defensive Player of the Year. McCowan is currently projected as a first-round draft pick in the WNBA draft, and the draft is going to be held on April 10th. Spring typically brings a few things, some more sunlight, lots of pollen and allergies, unfortunately, and also a little taste of football season. Ole Miss will be having its annual Grove Bowl this weekend, on Saturday, April 6th, at 3 p.m. It allows the Rebels to showcase the skills they've learned during spring drills.
It's going to be offense versus the defense. You have to do that. We're not deep enough right now to just throw guys out there and have a game, but they'll play offense versus defense, so it's easy to follow. Where the offense has to try to catch the defense. There's a certain amount of points we're going to put on the board, and the offense is trying to go catch them. The defense can get points with turnovers, but it'll be that. But that way we can sub guys in, keep guys fresh, and get a bunch of guys a bunch of reps.
Well, next year, Starkville Academy will be seeing a new face hitting the hardwood. First reported by Robbie Folk of the Starkville Daily News. After 5 seasons of coaching basketball at Starkville Academy, Bruce Alsup has resigned from the position. Alsup is reported to be stepping away from the coaching position to pursue other opportunities outside of coaching. A replacement for him has yet to be announced. And also over in Ackerman, the coaching landscape is changing as well. WCBI confirming that Choctaw County's head coach Ben Ashley resigned as the program's head coach earlier today. Ashley has spent the past 2 seasons coaching the Chargers. He has a combined record of 18-7 during those collective seasons. Ashley's reasons for resigning are currently unknown, and a replacement has yet to be announced for him as well. Well, while some schools have coaches resigning, other schools are doing some hiring. Oak Hill introducing the school's newest head coaching addition. Andrew Howell being introduced today as the Raiders boys basketball head coach. Howell spent the past 3 years at Presbyterian Christian School as an associate head coach and is excited to get to work with the Raiders. Well, normally here at WCBI Sports, both myself and sports director Tom Eppel are the ones doing the interviewing, but today we were the ones being interviewed by a budding sports reporter. Both of us were honored to be Mary Audrey. She's a wonderful 4th grade student at Henderson Ward Stewart Elementary School, and she wanted to learn more about sports reporting as a career. Honestly, there wasn't much to teach her. She taught me. I didn't know that the Greeks actually invented sports reporting. She's already getting reps and doing a fantastic job with her school's newscast and in softball. The rest of the class was amazing as well, full of kids with some bright futures ahead of them. We loved meeting all of you in Miss Hoskins' class.
What would they be?
That's it for sports. The last of your weather is next. Stick with us.
Some rain and storms around the region tomorrow. Will dry it out a little bit on Friday, probably be a little bit warmer. Warmer 80s return for the weekend, a sultry type weekend considering where we have been. There may be some storms developing Saturday into your Sunday and Monday. Some of that could be heavy, we'll see. And then some 70s again next week.
We like these temperatures. Definitely like the 80s.
30s this morning, so we're done with that for a while.
Thank God. We're done with freezing. We're
Right.
done. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.